Introduction. We all aspire to establish relationships together. We want to learn specific skills before marriage, and in this book the writer helps us with some important guidelines before choosing a life partner, but some have already married. However, he still lacks comfort in his life because of a lot of worries. So how to deal with our married life in the right way? This is what the writer also explains to us, and points out to us some points that it is possible to address to reach emotional stability. Having a relationship together. Each of us aspires to establish a healthy and normal relationship with his life partner, and these relationships certainly need wisdom and discernment in choosing a partner. First of all, you must realize who is the person you need as a husband and what your wishes are, and make sure that it is unreasonable for someone to come to you who has no shortage and no flaws. But what happens is that growing up with your partner, you are looking for a companion who will share the rest of your journey in life. Therefore, the parties must make an effort to evaluate the relationship and determine the appropriate ways to maintain the balance of this relationship, instead of falling into romantic color blindness that makes them in a state of wanderings and love without seeing things for what they really are. And the writer stated that he judges the relationship to be successful when both parties are ready to mention the strengths, as well as weaknesses and shortcomings alike. It is not natural that a person is only brilliant, because a mature relationship suitable for marriage is a real relationship in which all aspects are recognized. Otherwise, many fall into the illusion of love. Some may interpret love in incorrect ways, and they think that it is the focus of the relationship. The fact is that love is never enough, which is why we often see these same people after marriage scattered in psychiatric clinics, wanting to break up because love has disappeared. That is why we say that sincere love is not just a desire or a feeling of warmth, but it is the one that is reflected in actions and is represented by patience, affection, and compassion. Principles of partner selection. In your search for your life companion, you will encounter a lot of confusion and dispersion. It is crucial to focus on some essential principles that will help you build a relationship, including the regulation of exchange, which means that the range of things between you is wide in spiritual, cultural, social, and physical terms, where there must be a joint base in everything, and what is meant here is not the actual match. There are no two completely identical people for sure, but closeness achieves something of comfort, harmony until each of you satisfies his desires, and marriage is not built on one side. Still, it is necessary to balance all aspects to grow and flourish. Even the element of beauty is a principle because it is necessary to marry someone good-looking for you. Indeed, you aspire to be associated with an attractive person to feel good as soon as you see her, and this does not mean that virtual beauty is everything. Still, thinking, personality, love, and distinctive qualities give a spirit of beauty to the person in front of you, so when you get to know him, he may become more beautiful in your eyes. There is also a principle of high morality, a code of stable parental relationships, because it is tough to build your relationship with your partner in a way your parents do not like. It is also essential that our parents' relationship with our spouses is healthy and respectful, because the opposite will destabilize your emotional stability. There is also the principle of timing, which prevents you from rushing and taking risks, because marriage is a huge step, and in the end it is a livelihood from Allah, which is why he turned to Allah at all times to guide you to the right choice. The purpose of marriage. Every person must understand the purpose of marriage before accepting it, because the goal of marriage should be evident in the minds. For some it may be the 10 goals, sex, love, or procreation. The fact is that marriage fulfills all the desires of both parties if it is built correctly. If there is unity between them, marriage is not just a psychological clinic to gain emotional support and security. Still, it is higher and more precious than that, and its purpose is to unite the parties in all fields, to build their lives to the satisfaction of God. There are several areas in which we must make sure that we agree together before the marriage step, including the intellectual unity that makes one intellectually rich with his partner and is not deprived of sharing the events of his life with him, as well as the social unity that brings them closer to inclinations and interests. Instead of complaining a lot afterward, thinking from each party that he was going to change the other after marriage, spouses should work together as a team and harmonize in their relationship socially, not by perfect conformity, but by each party realizing how to deal with and accept each other's differences. There is also spiritual unity, which is essential for the house to be based on a stable foundation. Some may complain that they turn to God at all times, while their partner knows the way to pray only one day a week. Also, physical unity is essential, and it is no less important than others, but the idea in it is that if there are problems in the aspects mentioned above, each party may feel that he is not physically harmonious with his partner. The problem here stems from another basis, but if there are actual problems inside the body that cause this aversion, it can usually be treated or try to accept it. Fix yourself. We often see the complaint of husbands that comes along the lines of, "Oh, if my wife improves her temper, then why doesn't each party look at himself, and he should start improving himself. But instead of criticizing and despairing, you can start the journey of change by discovering your own flaws. You are honest about what you feel from the flaws that come from your partner, but maybe the key is in your pocket. Seek God's help first and then write down the spots that you do not tolerate to empty your mind of negativity, and then see how you can improve the matter. Let's say that the defects and problems are primarily from your partner and you account for 5% of them. So you have to improve this small percentage for the relationship between you to develop. You may discover in your personality reasons that also bother your relationships, such as cruelty, lack of love towards your partner, or impatience. Admit your shortcomings and failures until you put your hand on the first solutions. And if your partner does not accept your regret, this is his problem, not yours. The important thing is to talk to him compassionately, admitting everything negative that you have done and made mistakes in it. If he does not accept, tell him, I can understand your feelings. I have said that repeatedly, but this time I will try to fix things already. And smile at him no matter how he reacts immediately after your confession. And certainly you do not have to neglect the flaws of the other party in order not to reach an explosion or build a thick wall between you. But by failing together, tear down the wall that was built to repair the relationship. Life is not worth making walls rise between you. Stop blaming your partner and help God correct your mistakes. Start with the first step even if the other party has no desire for this. The role of love. Why suddenly the love between the spouses goes away and we see them repeating the phrase, I no longer love my partner. Is it because love is really a misconception for a lot of people, or is it because people marry just to get love? One has to learn the kind of true love that achieves actual and positive happiness in his lifestyle. True love is accompanied by patience, discernment, understanding, and kindness, and it requires sacrifice from both parties to satisfy the needs in the relationship. The lover will still love no matter how much he holds negative feelings towards his partner, so you can behave gently and lovingly even if you carry inside you an unpleasant feeling towards what comes from your partner. Praise is critical in showing emotions. For example, if your husband mows the grass early in the morning, replace the phrase, do you think you will be able to finish your work before noon? In words of praise and praise for the view of the garden, and with this he will rejoice with words of appreciation. And you, too, when you see your wife in a good and beautiful dress, show her your admiration and approval for what she looks like. There is also love in deeds, such as a person having a behavior of patience, compassion, and kindness as an expression of his love. Love is not one act, but it is a way of life. Love is polite and full of high qualities. No matter how simple you do, your partner will rejoice and his feelings towards you will improve. Love knows no selfishness and self-interest, so never allow your partner's reaction to frustrate your love for him. As long as you choose to love, accept it anyway, because love is your most potent weapon. The importance of communication. Communication is one of the most essential elements of a successful marriage. It is a necessity, not a luxury, as we often see some husbands or wives closing doors on themselves like a closed book and refusing to share life with the other party. Communication is on multiple levels. Contact at the level of daily events, communication at the level of solving problems or making decisions, and communication at the third level occur when the pressure is the most intense. Each party should ask itself, what needs does he want to provide to his partner for the communication process to grow between them, or should their discussions be aimed at changing the harmful lifestyle and overcoming the obstacles to communication that lie in the preservation of one of the parties and his provoked silence. And in this case it is necessary to discuss this problem with him, but gently and affectionately. And if there is difficulty in communicating direct speech, this can be done through it. But if you sacrifice and deal with your selfishness, perhaps you will set an example for your partner. The stage of reaching harmony in a relationship will pass with pain and sadness. Nothing will be achieved without pain and numerous attempts. But it is these pains that will help the relationship grow. Take charge. Taking responsibility poses many problems between spouses, as each party burdens the other, especially since many wives have become working outside the home more than exercising their traditional role. Especially since many conflict arose and spread inside the home more than for this reason, the couple's discussion of the role of each party in them is essential and vital in the lifestyle. And accepting different parts does not destroy unity. Is essential and vital in the lifestyle. There is an agreement. And accepting one must take responsibility first to learn and practice it. As long as there is an agreement, the wife has to take on many of the responsibilities of the house. The husband must not take his hand off these tasks. The mother bears the responsibilities of the house, but the husband also needs emotional intervention and tenderness from his father to determine the functions of both parties. Emotional intervention and consider the talents and skills of each of them, and make sure that the lover will always help his beloved. It is necessary to consider the talents and skills remain open to switching, and make sure that the lover will always help his beloved. Many husbands suffer from the idea that the other party does not admit his mistakes and thinks he is always right. Many husbands suffer from the idea that the other party does not admit his mistake and thinks he is always right, if he is the one who decided something. So here it is excellent for the wife to agree with her husband if he is the one who decided something, and your decision was wrong. She can raise his spirits and look for solutions. I told you this before, and your decision was wrong. She can raise his spirits and look for solutions because her opinion. He will not need anyone to scold him at that time, and this does not belittle the wife because her opinion is also essential and decisions together and use their minds to reach the best judgments. But the goal is for both parties to agree on their decisions together and use their minds to reach the best judgments. Other problems thinking of their couple may face many other problems. Some wives complain about the sexual thinking of their husbands, and indeed each party has her right to satisfy their sexual needs. Still, the idea is that a woman naturally has her sexual need and emotion more than in the body, so she is annoyed by a man. But there must be frank communication on the problems of sex between the spouses, as it is necessary for each party to express their issues and needs, and to understand the purpose of sex, as sex is helpful for reproduction and for satisfying the human instinct and pleasure, and our sexual desire is something natural. It is essential to empty it in halal as Allah commanded. Some problems may also arise from the difference between families and the hatred of mothers-in-law. However, strengthening the bonds of communication between the two families is extremely important, as parents should be honored, take their opinion and deal kindly with them. In-laws and relatives, and in general it is better to spare yourself the feelings of hatred and accept your in-laws on their relationship. Therefore, each of you should feel his parents' take and the importance of opinion. One of the widespread problems is also the problem of money and material crises, as they cause a significant obstacle in some relationships, as many husbands complain about the extravagance of his wife. So both parties must be aware of the nature of material crises and show piety, faith, patience, and gentleness. The pursuit of money is not the focus of life. Still, a person should stay breathless after cash. The parties must agree on the proportions that must be saved, on purchasing specific needs, and on the exclusion of spending on some unnecessary items. You have to try in every way to fulfill your role towards your partner. Life will not be straightened by trying only one party. Instead, each of you must realize his duty and keep the relationship as stable as possible. A woman should be affectionate, emotional, and merciful to her husband, and the husband should respect her, help her, and use the language of gifts to express his love. All people appreciate donations no matter how old they are.